Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain with the second in my series of Procreate Playtime. The reason for the title is because this isn't about making serious art with Procreate. It's not designed for serious artists. It is designed for complete novices, total beginners who have absolutely no idea what they're doing, okay? So if that happens to be you, then please keep watching and you might learn something of interest. I will link the first one of my videos in the series down below so you can have a look at that one if you want to start off from scratch. Now, this particular time I want to go through some of the preferences in Procreate. So if you tap on the wrench on the left hand side, and if you have your iPad in portrait mode, this will be still on the left hand side. You can tap on the wrench here and you will see various things are listed down the side, but if you go along here you'll see this thing called preferences, and if you tap on that it opens up another menu. Now the light interface will depend on the type of lighting you want to have. You can have it dark mode or you can have it light mode. Right hand interface is regarding this bar here, so if I tap it, it will move over to the left hand side because I've moved it to that side. Depends if you're left or right handed and what you like to use each hand to do. Connect to third party stylus, obvious. Most people with an iPad Pro will be using an iPad pencil, and this is a second generation one. And I wouldn't worry about the edit pressure curve at the moment. The one we really want to look at are the gesture controls. So if we tap on this one, you have a great many options. Now the one which is highlighted at the moment is the quick menu. And at the moment I've got it set, which is on the standard setting for Procreate. A 3-finger swipe down with your fingers will invoke the quick menu. So if I do done on there and I do a 3-finger swipe, you can see that different things come up. Now the other thing that you can do with this is you can customize it. If I tap and hold on one of them, I can change it to something else. So if there are things which I use a lot, I can customize that menu. Okay. So go back into my gesture controls. Now the quick shape, this one is quite interesting. This one is draw and hold automatically. So what happens here is if I draw something roughly round and then hold it, I can then edit the shape and I can have it go to a circle if that's what I want. Or I can then pull out these points and edit it any other way that I feel like. So it's for basic shapes such as circles and squares and triangles, and it gives you a proper circle or a proper square or whatever it is that you're doing. And just take that away. There we go. So that is what that one is. Then we have the quick menu, which I briefly showed you. You can go to full screen if you are zoomed in or out of something. You can have one to clear the layer, another one to copy and paste, selection of layer, and then down here you have general. And this one allows you to activate the rotate and pinch zoom. So for example, I can rotate with 2 fingers, I can zoom out and I can zoom in, depending on which way I'm doing it. And those are the standard ways of controlling things within Procreate. I can't talk this morning, I don't know why. So that is one of the things I wanted to show you. You don't have to alter anything, but if you are in the habit of maybe drumming your fingers on the surface while you're thinking, you might wonder why things are coming up. And that's what it's going to be. Or maybe you press and you hold with your finger, or press and hold with your pencil and you get things coming up. That's how you alter what that is going to do. The next one that I wanted to go for is the assisted drawing. Again, we tap on the wrench, and if we go to canvas, we can have animation assist, which is not what we are looking for. We want the drawing guide, and we tap on that to activate it. And underneath we have another section which allows us to edit that drawing guide. Now this can be really useful for all sorts of things, depending on what you like doing, whether it's writing, making sure your writing is all the same size, whether it's duplicating something in rotation, whether it's making sure something is symmetrical. Say maybe you're drawing the face of a dog and you can't get the face of the dog, even one side looks wonky. We'll draw half face on this and you can have it symmetrical without any problem, all those sorts of things. Now the thing that you will notice is there is a coloured bar across the top here, and this affects the colour of your lines. Okay, down here you can affect the thickness of your lines, and they're fully thick. You can change the grid size to whatever you fancy, and you can change the opacity of the lines as well. So at the moment I have my lines set to black. If I slide it along here, you can see that my lines change colour, and in fact if I go to white, of course, they completely disappear. Now you might think, why on earth would you be able to set it to white and have them there and not see them? Well, the thing is, you may not be working on white paper. You might be having a black background or a purple background or some other colour, and not every colour shows up on those colours. So you can change the colour as you wish. So this is a 2D grid. The next one is isometric, and that will allow you to do all sorts of weird and wonderful patterns. You have a perspective one, and then you have symmetry. Now symmetry is really useful. This, as you can see, would be symmetrical either side of that line. You can move where the line is with your pencil, and you have options, and if you click on the options you can have things like radial, you can have rotational symmetry, and you've got assisted drawing. Do vertical, for example, and we click on done. There we go. So if I change this to another colour and do that, you can see at the moment you can't actually see that line there because it's obviously in white. So if I go back into here and I go to edit the drawing guide, if I slide this over here, you can see the line, particularly if I put the opacity up. You can see where that line is. Click on done again. There we are. And so we can have our line showing up, and we will have our symmetry. Now if I go back into edit drawing the guide, I can change my symmetry to something else, and I could go for radial. Click on done. There we are. Use a different colour, use black this time, and maybe take that down, and you can do all sorts of patterns. This is really handy if you want to do symmetrical patterns, if you want to do the mandalas and all that sort of thing. And if you want to, you can save these, you can export them to your cutter software, you can do a trace, and then you can cut them out if it is a suitable mandala for cutting. Let's go into drawing guide. Just switch that one off there. So I showed you how to make a brush from scratch, but what I haven't shown you is how to alter a brush that you already have. So if, for example, I take this monoline here, swipe left, and just to be sensible, I'm going to duplicate it. So it's monoline 1, 1 here. So that was my original one, this is my duplicate, and if I tap on this, I can now adjust it however I want. Now, maybe I want to mess around with the spacing so that I can see all the individual shapes better. Doesn't make any difference what I want to do. Maybe I want to add some color dynamics to it and change the hue according to the pressure. And then when I go on here, hang on, if I go to my drawing pad, I put color on, you can see the color will now change. So if I like what I've done, I can go to about this brush. I can change the name in here if I want to by tapping on it and then writing a new name. I can put my signature in here if I want to, and I can then click done. Now I haven't changed it, so it now says monoline 1.1, but you can see what I'm going to get. If I change the color to something else, this is going to change the color. And if I don't like what I've done, of course, I can clear my layer. So that is how you would change a brush that already exists. So you copy it, then you do what you want to do with it, and then you use it after you've renamed it or not, up to you. But what if I want to combine more than one brush? Because I can do that as well. If I'm going to go for, say, Dearest Dottie, right, so swipe left and duplicate Dearest Dottie because I want to retain the one that I've already got. So I now want to blend that with my monoline 1.1 that I had. So if I right swipe on that, both of these are now highlighted. And you can see at the top here on the right hand side, we get a combine. If I tap on combine, it's going to put both of those pens together to create a new one. And if I tap on this one, we can see on the left hand side, I have two different items put together. And I can alter each of those items. So if I tap on this one, I will be altering the dotted line. And if I tap on this one, then I'm altering the other line. So it gets very, very interesting. And if I clear my drawing pad, let's see what I get at the moment. An interesting effect. It looks a little bit like some kind of road tracking or something like that. Okay, so now if I go into this dotted one, dynamics, okay, and now I can adjust the speed, for example, or sorry, when I adjust the speed of the stroke, I can adjust the size to make it go bigger or smaller if it's going to be faster, so it will do that. I can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I can change the size according to the pressure, so you can see it's getting smaller, getting bigger, all that sort of stuff. And you can put two strokes together to make your own brush. You can have great fun doing this. Some strokes will go together and create some really, really fun results. Others, you'll be able to look at it and think, not sure what that's done, and you might want to delete it. And if you want to delete it, you simply do your left swipe and go to delete. And that will do it. So that's how you make your brushes out of multiple brushes, or two brushes I should say, at one time. Now the final thing I quickly want to go into is the layers. Very, very quick. When you do a drawing in Procreate, it makes sense to put different types of items on different layers. So for example, I might decide I want this, and then I might think I want to use a different brush and do something like this one. But if I think I might want to alter it afterwards, it's much easier if I put it on a different layer. You will see it in exactly the same way, but you can move it so that one is underneath the other by dragging and dropping. You move it back if you wish. There we go. If I make this a little bit bigger, we can see this better. There we are. So now I take that and I put it behind the blue. So you can see you have a lot of different things that you might want to do with your different layers. If you have it on a separate layer, it's very, very easy to adjust things. Okay, that is it for the time being. I will come back with number 3 next. Thanks for watching. Take care now.